Margaret had been married to Charles for 51 years. They'd met at a church picnic in 1966, danced slow to Nat King Cole, and built a quiet life full of small routines. Morning coffee, garden walks, Jeopardy at 7. When Charles passed, it wasn't sudden. It was slow. The kind of loss that starts with silence and ends with absence. Every morning, Margaret still placed 2 cups on the table. She still talked to him about the headlines, the weather, the neighbors. And every evening, she sat quietly in her chair, across from the empty one he used to fill. The world kept turning, but for Margaret, time softened, stretched, and often stood still. Hello, dear friends. I'm Dr. Graham Johnson, and welcome to Elderly Life Guide, where we explore the real emotional terrain of growing older, with honesty, tenderness, and dignity. Today, we're talking about something many of us will face but rarely feel prepared for: the loss of a life partner. Whether it happened last month or years ago, the absence of someone you built your world around leaves more than silence. It leaves questions, memories, and a deep ache that doesn't go away with time, but changes shape. Let's walk through that landscape together. Grieving in our later years isn't like grieving in midlife. We don't bounce back with distractions. We don't throw ourselves into work or raising kids. We feel the absence more often, in the quiet, in the slowness, in the body that already carries enough pain. Many of us grieve without telling anyone. We stay silent because we don't want to be a burden, or because others assume we've moved on. But grief doesn't vanish. It lingers, like a shadow in the room. It lives in the rhythm of the home and the memories that never left. Grief doesn't always come in tears. It shows up when you forget to eat, when you talk aloud to someone who isn't there, when you reach for a coat that no longer hangs by the door. These quiet griefs are valid. They are real. You're not losing your mind. You're remembering love. There's no right way to grieve. Some light candles. Some avoid their partner's favorite room. Some write letters they never send. Each of these is sacred. One of the most healing things you can do is create a gentle ritual to remember them. Not a shrine, not something painful, something loving. For example, keep their favorite mug and use it each morning. Place a flower near their photo once a week. Write down one memory a day in a journal. Share a story about them when the grandkids visit. These aren't reminders of what you've lost. They're reminders of how deeply you loved. When the world feels unstable, routine becomes your lifeboat. Waking up at the same time, feeding a pet, walking to the mailbox, watering plants. These small actions are your anchors. Even preparing a simple breakfast or playing the same radio station can help the brain settle, reduce anxiety, and offer a sense of safety. Routines don't erase grief, but they soften its edges. Loneliness can feel like a heavy fog that settles in during the quietest moments, after meals, in the evening, or when you wake up to an empty room. It's normal and natural, but that doesn't mean you have to face it alone. Sometimes, simply acknowledging the loneliness is the first step. Give yourself permission to feel it, without judgment. Reach out to a friend, a family member, or a support group. Many communities now offer bereavement groups, specifically for seniors, where sharing stories and listening can bring comfort. Even small connections, a phone call, a shared cup of tea, or a walk with a neighbor, can break that isolation. Remember, it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to want company. You don't have to grieve in silence. There are people trained to help seniors through this journey. Local senior centers often host grief counseling or peer support groups. Faith communities provide spiritual comfort and companionship. Online forums and virtual groups offer connection when mobility is limited. I recommend exploring these resources, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Grief shared is grief eased. Family and friends might not always know how to support you, but professionals and peers often do. Connecting with others who understand your experience can be a balm for the soul. If you're still walking this path of loss, here's a gentle message from me to you. Dear friend, grief is not a sign of weakness. It's the language of love, spoken softly in tears, silence, and memory. You are not alone, even when it feels like the world has moved on without you. Take all the time you need. Heal in your own way. And when you're ready, let the love you shared become the light that guides you forward. Hold on to hope. hold on to yourself. With warmth, Dr. Graham Johnson. As we close today's episode, I want to remind you, grief changes us, but it doesn't define us. Your love story remains part of who you are, a source of strength and tenderness. In your 70s, 80s, and beyond, there is room for new joys, new connections, and new routines that honor your past without trapping you in it. If this episode touched your heart, please share it with someone you think might need it. And remember to take gentle care of yourself. I'm Dr. Graham Johnson. Thank you for being here with me on Elderly Life Guide. Until next time, may peace find you in the quiet moments.